working with you on the FAA bill this year. Yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from Washington.
Thank you, Chair Graves. I appreciate the opportunity, and Ranking Member Cohen, thanks for calling today, the hearing today on securing the future of general aviation. So in my home state of Washington and across the country, general aviation means good paying jobs, and it's part of a key to long-term economic growth. A recent study found the GA industry supported an estimated $247 billion in economic output and 1.2 million jobs in the U.S. in 2018. It seems we maybe want to update that now. In terms of fleet size, the active GA fleet is projected to increase from its 2021 level of more than 204,000 aircraft to 209,000 by 2042. This means more manufacturing, more maintenance, more flight crew training will be needed, resulting in opportunities for growth in communities with general aviation airports, and that, of course, means investing in the workforce and developing the future workforce in aviation. But first and foremost, we must continue to champion aviation safety. And over the past few decades, general aviation has become significantly safer, with the number of fatal and non-fatal accidents declining since 2000. However, there is still room for improvement in GA, which has the highest aviation accident rate within civil aviation. In 2021, the NTSB found that most aviation fatalities in 2020 took place during general aviation opportunities, where 332 people were killed, compared to 0 fatal accidents involving Part 121 air carriers in that same year. Would note the accident of the Mutiny Bay crash in my own district, killing 10 in the last year as an example of that. But with new technologies available for general aviation aircraft, the expansion of analytical tools to study safety trends and patterns and improve training, we can, will, and frankly, we should do better. As well, general aviation also improves equity and access to the national airspace system for people across the country. Many small and rural communities do not have access to commercial service airports or regularly scheduled air service. For instance, 82% of communities in Alaska are only accessible via air, yet only a handful have regularly scheduled commercial flights. General aviation and charter services provide these communities with lifelines to critical resources and services. To that end, Congress specifically targeted general aviation in the bipartisan infrastructure law, investing $500 million annually over 5 years for general aviation and non-primary airports, and $300 million for contract towers, creating jobs and increasing mobility. These types of investments are critical into ensuring that NAS is available to all people. Unfortunately, as the NAS expands, we have to be cognizant of consequences, and as the ranking member discussed already, with regards to leaded fuel, certain piston-powered general aviation aircraft still use avgas, which contains lead. So while general aviation is the only transportation mode still using leaded fuel, we have to ensure that transition to newly available unleaded alternatives is safe and thoughtful. To expedite this transition, the Eliminate Aviation Gasoline Lead Emissions, or EAGLE initiative, was launched in the last couple of years. This federal and industry initiative aims to transition GA completely to unleaded fuel by 2030. And the general aviation sector is also committed to addressing the industry's contributions to climate change. In recent years, the development of electric and hybrid-powered aircraft have been among the efforts to reduce carbon and noise emissions. For example, Arlington Municipal Airport in my hometown of Arlington, Washington, is home to Eviation, an aviation company which is developing the 9-seat all-electric Alice aircraft. GA is also working to adopt alternative fuel sources to reduce carbon emissions, such as development and distribution of SAF. To support the sustainable growth of general aviation sector, Congress must create a regulatory framework that prioritizes safety, invests in the necessary infrastructure, and helps to make our communities globally competitive well into the 2050s and beyond. So while the future of U.S. aviation remains bright, general aviation is part of that picture and still faces challenges that have to be addressed. And we have that opportunity working with the FAA reauthorization to work with GA to ensure that future remains bright. Finally, before I yield back, Mr. Chair, I do want to recognize representatives from the Colgan family who are here to continue their valiant and necessary effort to ensure continued safety in the national airspace. With that, I look forward to tackling these issues together with everyone here, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr.